Hey everybody, it's Wolf over here at Host Magi. So today we are going to review another VR application. This one is called Ovation, and it is an app that helps you do public speaking, interview skills, conversational skills, and allows you to basically practice those skills so that when you're in a real life situation, you're able to do those things well. For example, you want to do if you're doing public speaking, then it's a good way to be able to practice your upcoming speeches. If you're a brand new public speaker, then it allows you to practice and build some skills before you give your first public speech. If you're an experienced public speaker, again, you can still practice all your public speeches before the actual event. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, when you first open up the app, the first thing you're going to see is a login screen. This is a paid application. It does cost $15 a month if you do the annual plan, or $20 a month if you do the monthly plan. Now, once you're logged in, you're going to see on the left-hand side, you've got menu actions, how-to stuff, so you can figure out how to operate things. All right, and you can close that. All right, and then you're going to see this option here. Now, this button right here will teleport you back to the starting location for the venue. This one gets you straight to the how-to menu, and that would close and leave. On this left-hand side here, you have three options. You have speech, conversation, or interviews. So what this basically does is it uses AI to generate a mock audience for you, whether it be an interview, a conversation, speech, whatever. It generates a mock audience for you that you will then give your speech to, give your presentation to, have conversation with, whatever, and it can respond to you based on what you say specifically. And we'll get into that in more detail here in a minute. All right. Meet allows you to bring other people into it, so you can have other participants, either as maybe your interviewer or somebody you're having conversation with, and or even audience members, or let's say you're giving a speech and you will have somebody that you're giving that presentation with, so you can get that person to join you in here and you guys can practice your presentation together. That way, when it comes time for the actual event, you can make sure that you're all synced up and you're on the same page, everything like that. Really makes a team or group type presentation go a lot better. This one, we will get into the virtual or the Ovation VR website here in a little bit, but this one lets you manage any files that you have on there. That's your speeches, your conversations, anything you've imported. This allows you to review any speeches that you've done or interviews that you've done in this. And then you have your settings. We're not going to go into big detail here, but as you see, you can have a few settings. You have movement mode. Now, by default, it is set on teleport. I really like to have it on walk and teleport because I want to be able to do both. Right-hand turn mode and left-hand turn mode, you can do those as well. You can change some artificial intelligence features and a bunch of other stuff you can change as well. But like I said, we're not going to go into that in deep detail here. Avatar, you can choose your own avatar. You can create an avatar. You got your how-to menus, your account information, and then, of course, quit button. All right, so let's go back, and we're going to go into speech Q&A. You have several venues available. You have the hotel conference room medium with a capacity of up to 128 participants. The small one with 48, lecture hall with 75, classroom with 30, boardroom of 10, mountain lodge with 6, and an office with a capacity of 2. We are going to take the medium hotel conference room, and you click yes. Now, what this is going to do is we're going to load the room. It's going to take a few seconds to load. Once it does, you're going to see a crowd of people here sitting and waiting for you to give your presentation. And we'll get into some of the changes that you can make in this as well. So when you first get here, you're going to see this screen right here. These we basically already discussed. Obviously, you've got the back button, the how-to menu, go into your settings, and you can close this as well. You got setup options here, so we're going to go click setup. And for the Q&A part, you can determine what questions are answered, so you can give specific questions that are going to be asked, and the audience members will ask those questions. You can choose who your audience is based on a number of different options, but we'll go ahead and stick with business professionals. Your question tone can be mixed, which is what I recommend, because in real life, again, you're going to have a mix of these things. The question difficulty, again, you're going to get easy questions, you're going to get hard questions. So having a mix, I think, does the best job of preparing you for the real world. And then the number of questions, we're going to keep it low. We're just going to do 2 for now, just because we don't want this to take too long. But you can put in your own number, or you can choose one of the preset options. Okay. Now, contextual, we're going to go ahead and delete all of this. All right, so you can basically enter in contextual stuff. So basically information about this. You can either type it in or you can use the voice. So let's see here. This is a speech about Ovation and how to use it to learn public speaking and how to hone your skills for interviews, conversations, and public speaking engagements. Click finish. Click save. There we go. Imports. This one, you'll see we have some slides down here. I've already imported those. What this does is you upload files to your ovationvr.com account, and then you can come in here and you can import those here so that you can use them in your speech. Arrangements. So you see we got a timer in the back there. We can turn that on or off. We also have some setting. We have a countdown timer. All right, so most public speeches are going to be timed. You have like a session limit usually. So this is a really good tool to use for that, to make sure that you're staying within your time frame. You can display imported slides on a large screen. I really like to do that. So that's for, because in a real life presentation, most likely you're going to have your audience is going to need that. So teleprompter, lectern, a computer on the lectern, which would have your slides on it. Board, slides monitor, slide note monitor, microphones, a chair if you want to do in a seated position, a stage, whether or not you want to have the elevated platform. Then you have a bunch of handhelds available. You can have a tablet, which, similar to the computer, lets you kind of browse through your slides. You can also do a note card, which, like if you have uploaded a text file, that would put that stuff on there. Slide changer, we'll have that enabled for this one. A microphone, a handheld microphone, paper, laser pointer, whiteboard marker, chalk, and eraser. And you have your audience settings. Now you can set like how much of the capacity you have here. So if you want to do like 75% capacity of your venue, you can do that. You can go all the way up to 100% of your capacity. Okay, and have all of the seats be filled. If you want only women in the crowd, then just turn this down all the way to 0. If you want only men, then turn this all the way up to 100. If you want to mix, you can decide what ratio you want that to be. Social distancing, this is kind of a dumb feature to me because I think it's kind of redundant because you have the male-female ratio and the attendance limit here, which pretty much does that, really. So, clothing, you can choose that they have casual, business, or a mix. I like a mix. Whether or not you want them to have a standing or seated ovation. at the end of its speech, and whether or not the audience can be rude by doing things like looking at their phones, yawning, falling asleep, sneezing, coughing, etc. Okay? All right. Once you have all that set to where you want it, you're just going to click here. Now we want to get ourselves back, so we're just going to, we can get ourselves easily back into the normal position just by going like that. Now we're going to go ahead and go back here, speech Q&A. When you click start, you have two options. You can get a prompt if you just want to do a basic practice. You can click on this that allows you to shuffle through a bunch of messages, or you can pick one based on several types of criteria here. Okay. You can also add your own. All right. But for us, we are going to go with the start now. So what this is going to do is it's going to start a 5-second timer and our speech is going to start. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this speech on the Ovation VR software, which allows you in a virtual reality environment to stand up in front of a crowd like you and speak and talk and practice your public presentation skills. This app can also be used for interviews as well as conversational skills. It allows you to record a presentation and then analyze that presentation for the strengths and weaknesses, so you learn areas where you can get stronger in your public speaking and where you can where you're doing really well in your public speaking as well. So let's go ahead and let's go through our slides here. So as you see, we can just click through the slides here, and you guys can see the slides there as well as we change. Okay. And you can see what we're talking about, and you can see that the crowd actually looks at the slides. Okay. So that's pretty cool. All right, folks, thank you so much for your time here. Now, when we're done, we're just going to click this here button, and then we're going to click Start Q&A. And by the way, the button is just basically on your controller. You're going to click the Y button there, click Start Q&A, and then use trigger to select that. Now, once you start Q&A, they're going to do your ovation if you have that enabled. And then it's going to start generating the questions one at a time, and a person is going to stand up and ask the question. By the way, you can move this wherever you need to.
Hi, great speech. I work in the healthcare sector where efficient communication is crucial. How does the Ovation VR software adapt to industry-specific scenarios, like presenting medical data or conducting patient consultations?
Well, I think the biggest place where that might help is the ability to have slides. So as you said, we can add slides in here, so it's just like we're talking to our people. Again, the other thing is there are industry-specific options that you can choose when you're choosing your audience. Medical professionals, doctors is one of those options, so you can definitely choose that, and then you'll be talking to a crowd of people in your industry. Now you're going to click Send Response, and then it's going to record that response and then generate the second question. And the next person is going to stand up and answer another question, ask another question. But we're not going to go ahead and sit around and wait for this. We are just going to go ahead and close out. And we're going to go ahead and end. Now you can throw this away and start all over again. Or you can click Save and Review. And it's going to create a transcript of your speech. And show what you talked about, the things you said. And then it's going to show the audience's speech as well. Then you're going to go ahead and click View Report. And this is where you get the really useful information. We're going to go ahead and close out our tips there. So it judges or analyzes your speech based on a few different criteria. So you've got reasoning, creativity, structure, clarity, and emotion. And it gives you information about how you did on this. For example, with emotion, while you seemed enthusiastic about the topic, there was an opportunity to express more authentic emotion. Sharing a personal story or a heartfelt example of how software has helped someone could make your speech more impactful. Engaging your audience emotionally can make your message more memorable. So, as you can see, it actually analyzes what you said and how that speech could be better. Then you have quotes, and what this does is it just takes a few random parts of your speech and analyzes them individually. Tips gives you specific tips on how to engage your audience, detail key features, and smooth transitions to Q&A. Finally, we have the analytics. Now, this is one of my favorite parts here. So, this gives you information specific about your speech and how you did on a scored basis. So, as you see, we did maintain a comfortable speaking rate, 100% on that one. We did really well. Okay. Now, avoiding filler words, not so good. You know, we did a lot of filler words, which, by the way, was intentional because I wanted to see how this works. Okay. And then we're going to close this out. Pauses. But it just gives you a bit of information about each of these points. Word choice, like how many times you used words. This way you can find out if you're using words too much, specific words. That's how this works. For the public speaking thing, the interview and conversation is essentially the same. You say something, and then the interviewer or the person you're conversating with responds to that. So it pretty much works the same. So now what we're going to do is the second half of this video. We're going to go on to the Ovation VR website, and we are going to show you the user portal where you can manage a lot of things regarding your files, regarding your speeches, training, and stuff like that. So let's get into that right now. All right, so here we are on the Ovation client portal on the website at app.prod.ovationvr.com. And we're just going to take a quick overview. As you can see, I'm on a trial right now. They do offer a 7-day free trial. So it's a really good tool to use, though. So again, I would definitely recommend buying the paid version and paying for it. But for now, you can see the homepage here just gives you a few FAQs. You do have a documentation option down here. If you go into your account, you can manage your account settings. Recordings. This will show all of the speeches and all the recordings that you've made. We'll come back to one of these in just a minute here. Conversations and interviews. As you see, we don't have any of those right now. We haven't done any of them. And then you've got the PowerPoint slides that I had uploaded. So again, you can just click add import and you can choose your options here and upload your files. Prompts. Remember, I showed you the prompts that you can use for speeches. So you can create your own collection with your own prompts for your practice speeches. Downloads. There is a desktop version, or if you do not have a VR headset, so you're not limited to using this only if you're in VR. Okay. If you don't have VR, although it works best for VR because that's mainly what it's designed for, if you don't have VR, just download the desktop version onto your Windows PC. They only have it for Windows, by the way. They don't have it for Mac or Linux, unfortunately. But you can just download that version and set it up there. All right, so now you can just click on the menu there to sign out. So as you see, it doesn't really take much. So let's go back into our recordings. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on one of them. Let's go ahead and click on this one here. This is the one we just did. All right, and basically everything you saw inside of the VR app is going to be here, okay? So you've got the details, the transcripts, you've got factors, you've got your quotes, you've got your tips, and you've got your analytics, okay? All right, so there we go, folks. That is pretty much it. That is Ovation VR. And I highly recommend using this if you are a public speaker. I think you'll find that it really makes life a lot easier for you. It really gives you a good way to be able to practice your skills either as a public speaker or conversational or even in an interview. So, you want to land that perfect job, pre-practice your interview using this tool. Again, at $15 a month on the annual plan, it is totally, totally worth it. Now, I want to make it clear I am not an affiliate of Ovation. I do not make money for recommending this tool. I'm recommending it because I've been playing around with it and I absolutely enjoy it. And I myself am going to subscribe to it and keep it and keep using it for my public speeches. So when I'm speaking at word camps and whatnot. I really, really think this is a good tool for you folks. Check it out and have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next video.